6 months passed like a slow death. Hyun took the job. He worked in the Tellurian shipyards on the edge of their empire. The facility was massive, bigger than anything humans had built. Hundreds of ships in various stages of construction floated in the vacuum, held in place by gravity nets. Thousands of workers moved between them like insects. His adaptive technology was being integrated into everything: armor, ships, weapons, tools. The Tellurians were amazed by how much more efficient it was, how fewer resources were wasted when equipment could adjust to the user, how soldiers performed better when their gear fit properly. Hyun was successful. He was respected. He was wealthy. Engineers from across the empire came to study his methods. He had meetings with high-ranking military officials. He was changing an entire civilization's approach to technology, and he was miserable. Every day felt empty. He would wake up, work, eat, sleep, and repeat. The work that used to excite him felt mechanical now. He went through the motions. He solved problems, but there was no joy in it. He thought about Nari constantly, wondered where she was, if she was safe, if she thought about him, if she had moved on. The Tellurian engineers he worked with were brilliant but rigid. They understood the technical aspects of what he was teaching them, but they struggled with the philosophy. They wanted rules and standards. They wanted one correct answer. They could not understand that sometimes there were many answers, all equally valid. Why can't we just make 3 standard sizes? One engineer asked during a design review. Small, medium, large. Everyone fits into one of those categories. But they don't. Hyun explained for what felt like the 100th time. Everyone is different. This soldier has longer arms. This one has a wider chest. This one has an old injury that affects their range of motion. If you try to fit them all into 3 sizes, someone gets hurt. But it's inefficient to make custom equipment for everyone. Is it more efficient to have soldiers who can't fight properly because their armor doesn't fit? The engineer had no answer for that. Hyun realized the problem. Tellurian culture valued strength and uniformity. They built everything for the ideal warrior. Anyone who did not fit that ideal was expendable. They had never learned to value individuality because individuality was seen as weakness. He missed working with Nari. She understood both approaches. She could bridge human creativity and Tellurian discipline. Without her, he felt like he was trying to translate a language no one else spoke. Late one night, unable to sleep, Hyun walked through the shipyard observation deck. Below him, ships stretched to the horizon. Above him, stars filled the black sky. Somewhere out there, Nari was patrolling the border. Somewhere out there, she was living the dream she had always wanted. He hoped she was happy. He hoped it was worth it. Meanwhile, light years away, Nari was having similar thoughts. The border fleet was everything she had imagined and nothing like she expected. Her unit consisted of 20 ships patrolling the edge of Tellurian space. They watched for smugglers, pirates, and potential invasion forces. It was important work, dangerous work, and Nari was good at it. The custom equipment Hyun had made gave her advantages other pilots did not have. She could maneuver in tight spaces that larger Tellurians could not navigate. She could interface with captured alien technology because her control systems were adaptive. She approached problems differently, thinking around obstacles instead of through them. Her unit started calling her the Adapter. It was meant as a compliment, though some older warriors still said it with a hint of mockery. She was proving herself, slowly earning respect through competence and results. But she was lonely. The other pilots were friendly enough, but she never felt like one of them. They talked about families, about finding mates, about traditional Tellurian life. Nari had none of that. She had her ship, her duty, and memories of a human mechanic who had made her feel whole. She thought about Hyun every day. Wondered if he was happy in the shipyards, if he had forgotten her, if taking these opportunities had been the right choice. One evening, her unit received a distress call. A human colony ship damaged and drifting. The ship had suffered engine failure and was leaking atmosphere. 300 colonists on board, including families with children. The unit commander, a traditional Tellurian named Kor, wanted to ignore it. Not our responsibility. Human authorities can handle their own ships. They won't reach it in time, Nari argued. The ship will lose all atmosphere in 6 hours. Those people will die. Then they die. We have our patrol route to maintain. Something snapped in Nari. She thought about what Hyun had taught her, about how humans survived by helping each other, about how they never left anyone behind, about how compassion was not weakness but strength. "I'm going to help them," she said, "with or without authorization. You will follow orders, pilot, then court-martial me after." "I'm going." Nari broke formation and set course for the colony ship. 3 other pilots followed her. The rest stayed with Commander Kor, who was furious but did not try to stop them. When Nari reached the colony ship, she saw how bad it was. Hull breaches everywhere, systems failing. The ship was dying and everyone on board with it. She maneuvered her small fighter close to the colony ship's hull. Using her adaptive equipment, she was able to interface with the human systems and establish communication. "This is Nari of the Tellurian Border Fleet. We're here to help." The voice that answered was old and tired. "Thank God, we've been trying to reach anyone for hours. We're losing atmosphere. Life support is failing. We need immediate evacuation." "Understood. My team is scanning for the safest way to board." For the next 4 hours, Nari coordinated a rescue operation. She used her small size to crawl through damaged sections that larger Tellurians could not reach. She helped carry children to the evacuation shuttles. She worked side by side with the human engineers, trying to stabilize critical systems. She saw Hyun in every one of them, their resourcefulness, their determination, their refusal to give up. They had been limping along on failing systems, held together by hope and duct tape and sheer stubbornness. It was the most human thing she had ever seen. They saved everyone. All 300 colonists evacuated safely. As Nari was preparing to leave, an old mechanic stopped her. He looked at her equipment, her custom armor and tools. "Only one person could have made this," he said. His eyes were knowing. "Hyun's work. I'd recognize his design philosophy anywhere." "You know him?" Nari felt her throat tighten. "Yes, I knew him." "Knew? Past tense? It's complicated," the old mechanic smiled. "It always is with love. But let me tell you something about that boy. His greatest gift isn't his engineering. It's that he sees people, really sees them. Who they are, what they need, what they can become." He paused. "Sounds like you see him the same way." "Don't waste that. Do you know how rare real love is in this big cold galaxy?" After the rescue, Nari sat in her fighter staring at the stars. She thought about what the old mechanic had said. She thought about the human colonists, about how they faced death together as a community, about how they valued each person, especially the vulnerable ones. She realized something. She had been trying to earn respect by becoming more Tellurian, by following their rules, by hiding her differences, by giving up the person she loved because her society said it was wrong. But Hyun had taught her a different path. He had shown her that being different was not a flaw, that sometimes the rules were wrong, not the people who could not follow them. That real strength was being yourself, even when the world said you should not. She had proved she could serve her people. She had earned respect through her actions. But in doing so, she had lost the person who had made her feel like she was worth respecting in the first place. Nari opened a communication channel to the shipyards where Hyun worked. It took 3 tries before she got through to his personal line. When his face appeared on her screen, she felt her heart break all over again. He looked tired, older, sad. "Nari?" His voice was rough. "Is everything okay?" "No," she said. "Nothing is okay. I made a mistake." "We made a mistake, and what do you mean?" "We let fear control us. We let other people's rules tell us what we could feel. We gave up something rare and precious because society said we should." Tears ran down her face. "I don't care anymore, Hyun. I don't care what my father thinks. I don't care what Tellurian society thinks. I'm tired of hiding who I am. Nari, I love you. I never stopped loving you. And I'm done pretending that I don't." Hyun's face on the screen showed so much emotion, relief, joy, love. "I love you too. God, I've missed you so much. Then let's stop being apart. Let's stop letting fear win. But your career, your position in the fleet, I'll keep my career, and you'll keep yours. But we'll stop hiding. We'll stop pretending this isn't real." Nari wiped her tears. "I don't know how we make this work across light years. I don't know what happens when we tell people. But I know I'd rather fight for us than live without you." "When's your next leave?" Hyun asked. 2 weeks. Then I'm requesting time off. We'll meet on the station, where this all started." He smiled, and it was like the sun coming out. "We'll figure this out together, like we should have from the beginning." After the call ended, Nari sat in her fighter and felt lighter than she had in months. She did not know what would happen. Word of Hyun's success spread fast through the station. Within days, other Tellurians started showing up at his shop. They were the ones society had rejected. Too short like Nari. Too tall with bodies that did not match standard proportions. Some had injuries that left them unable to use normal equipment. Some were just different, they all wanted help. And Hyun could not say no. Nari started coming to the shop every day again, but now she worked beside him. She translated, explained Tellurian technology, and helped design solutions. She was brilliant at it. She understood both worlds now, human and Tellurian, and she could bridge the gap. They worked side by side, creating custom armor, tools, and interfaces. Each solution was unique, built for the individual. It was the opposite of Tellurian philosophy, which valued uniformity and standards. But it worked. Hyun loved working with her. They developed their own language of quick looks and small gestures. They could communicate without words. When Nari handed him a tool, it was always the right one. When Hyun needed a measurement, she already had it ready, and the touches became more frequent. A hand on the shoulder, fingers brushing as they reached for the same component, standing close while reviewing designs. Moments when their eyes met and the whole world seemed to stop. They were falling deeper in love every day. But they kept it secret. They had to. One night they were working late. Everyone else had gone home. The station was quiet. Nari was explaining a Tellurian power system when Hyun just stopped listening and kissed her. She kissed him back, her hands tangling in his hair. They stumbled against the workbench. Parts scattered to the floor. Neither of them cared. We should not do this here, Nari whispered against his lips. I know, Hyun said, but he kissed her again anyway. They heard the door chime and jumped apart. A Tellurian client stood in the doorway staring at them. For a moment, no one moved. Then the client turned and left without a word. They saw us, Nari said. Her face had gone pale. Maybe they will not say anything, Hyun said, but he did not believe it. 3 days later, Commander Day came to the shop. He came alone without his usual guards. That scared Hyun more than anything. Nari is not here, Hyun said. His mouth was dry, I know. I sent her on an errand across the station. I wanted to speak with you privately. Commander Day's voice was calm, controlled. That was worse than anger. About what? Do not insult me by pretending, human. I know about you and my daughter. Hyun's heart sank. Commander Day, I can explain. There is nothing to explain. I have eyes. I have watched how you look at her. How she looks at you. The giant stepped closer. I respect you, Hyun. You gave my daughter something precious. But this cannot continue. We care about each other. I know. That is what makes this difficult. Commander Day sighed. It sounded like wind through a canyon. You do not understand Tellurian society. We are warriors. We value strength, honor, and pure bloodlines. A union between my daughter and a human would destroy her reputation. She would become an outcast in a new way. All the work you did to help her would be meaningless. So we should just stop? Pretend we don't feel anything? Yes. Commander Day's amber eyes were sad but firm. For her sake. Does she know you're here? No, and you will not tell her. It was not a request. I have another solution. One that honors you and protects her. Commander Day pulled out a datapad and handed it to Hyun. On it was a contract, an offer of employment. The Tellurian Empire wanted to hire Hyun to bring his adaptive technology to their entire military. The pay was enormous. The opportunity was incredible. You would work from our primary shipyard, Commander Day explained. It is on the far side of our territory. Far from this station, far from Nari, Hyun understood. You're trying to separate us. I am trying to save you both from pain. You would have resources, respect, and the chance to help thousands. She would have her career and her place in society. You would both move on. I don't want to move on. Neither does she. But sometimes what we want and what is right are not the same thing. Commander Day's voice softened slightly. I am not your enemy, Hyun. I am trying to protect my daughter. Can you understand that? Hyun could. If he had a daughter, would he not do the same? Would he not try to protect her from a society that would judge her? I need time to think, Hyun said. You have 3 days. Then I need your answer. After Commander Day left, Hyun sat in his shop for hours. He looked at the contract. It was everything a mechanic could dream of. But it meant losing Nari. He did not know what to do. When Nari returned from her errand, she found Hyun staring at nothing. She knew immediately something was wrong. What happened? She asked. I need to tell you something. Hyun showed her the contract. Nari read it, her face unreadable. When she finished, she set it down carefully. So my father wants you gone. He thinks it's for the best. For the best? Nari's voice rose. He gets to decide what is best for me? I'm not a child. He loves you. He's trying to protect you. By taking away the person I love? Nari turned away. I cannot believe you are defending him. I'm not defending him. I'm trying to understand him. Well, let me help you understand me. Nari spun back to face him. I have spent my entire life having other people make decisions for me. What I can do, where I can go, who I can be. I thought you were different. I thought you saw me as capable of making my own choices. I do. Then let me choose. Nari's silver eyes were bright with tears. Don't make this decision for me. Don't take the job just because my father told you to. I haven't decided anything yet. Before they could continue, Nari's communicator beeped. She looked at it and went very still. It's from the Tellurian border fleet. What do they want? Nari read the message twice. When she looked up, her face showed shock and joy and fear all mixed together. They are offering me a position. A real military posting. In space. That's amazing, Hyun said. He meant it. He knew how much she wanted this. It's a border patrol position. Distant, dangerous. But it's real service. They saw my test flight. They think I can contribute. Nari's hands were shaking. I would have to leave in 2 weeks. 2 weeks? They stared at each other. Both had been given their dreams. Both dreams required them to leave. Both dreams meant separation. This is what we wanted, right? Nari said quietly. For me to serve. For you to build amazing things. This is our chance. Yes, Hyun said, but it felt like a lie. Then we should take it. Nari's voice was firm, but tears ran down her blue cheeks. We should take these opportunities. We should not hold each other back. Is that what you really want? No, the word came out broken. But I don't know what else to do. I love you, Hyun, but I also love my people. I want to serve them. I want to prove myself, and if we stay together, if we keep this relationship, I will never have that chance. They will see me as the Tellurian who betrayed her species for a human. So this is it? We just end this? We have to. Nari walked to the door, then stopped. She did not turn around. I leave in 2 weeks. Maybe it is better if we don't see each other until then. Clean break, Nari, wait, but she was already gone. The door closed behind her with a soft hiss. Hyun stood alone in his shop, surrounded by the tools and parts and half-finished projects. He had everything he thought he wanted. A successful business, respect, and incredible job offer. He had helped people. He had made a difference, but he had never felt more empty in his life. The testing hangar was enormous. It had to be to accommodate ships from species of all sizes. Commander Day stood at the observation window, his massive frame tense. Other Tellurians had come to watch, along with station personnel and curious aliens from a dozen worlds. Hyun stood near the hangar floor, his stomach in knots. Nari was in the preparation room putting on the armor for the first time. This had better work, human. Commander Day's voice was quiet but dangerous. I have allowed my daughter to hope. If you have given her false hope, you will answer to me. It will work, Hyun said. He tried to sound more confident than he felt. The preparation room door opened. Nari stepped out and the crowd went silent. The armor fit her like a second skin. The dark blue metal plates followed the lines of her body perfectly. The exoframe was barely visible, integrated so smoothly that it looked like part of the design. Energy lines glowed along the armor, pulsing with power. She wore a helmet that covered the top of her head but left her face visible. She looked like a warrior. She looked powerful. She looked right. Nari walked toward the fighter craft in the center of the hangar. Her movements were smooth, confident. The armor moved with her, not against her. When she reached the ship, she pressed her hand to the entry panel. The exoframe extended, letting her reach the controls that were meant for someone twice her height. The panel recognized her biometrics and opened. Hyun heard Commander Day take a sharp breath. Nari climbed into the cockpit. Through the ship's windows, Hyun could see her settling into the pilot's seat. She touched the controls and the ship hummed to life. The engines glowed bright blue. Beginning test sequence, Nari's voice came through the speakers. She sounded nervous but determined. The ship lifted off the hangar floor. It hovered for a moment, then began moving through the obstacle course. The course was designed for Tellurian pilots with tight turns and narrow gaps. Nari's ship moved through it slowly at first. Then faster and faster. She was rusty. Hyun could see that. She had not flown in years, maybe never flown a real ship before. But she was learning, adapting, getting better with every second. The ship spun through a corkscrew turn. It dove under a barrier and climbed over another. The crowd was cheering now. Even the Tellurians who had come expecting to see failure were impressed. Commander Day's hands gripped the railing. His eyes never left the ship. Nari completed the course. The ship landed smoothly back in the center of the hangar. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the cockpit opened and Nari climbed out. She took off her helmet. She was crying. Hyun ran to her before he could think. "Are you okay? Did something break?" Nari laughed through her tears. "No, nothing broke. Everything worked. Everything worked perfectly." She looked at him, her silver eyes shining. "I flew, Hyun. I actually flew." "You did more than fly," Hyun said. "You were amazing." Commander Day's heavy footsteps approached. Hyun stepped back, suddenly remembering that Nari's father was 12 feet of muscle and armor and military training. But the giant walked past him. He went to his daughter and knelt down so he could look her in the eyes. "I am proud of you," Commander Day said. His voice was thick with emotion. "So proud." Nari threw her arms around her father's neck. He held her carefully like she was precious and fragile, even though she was wearing battle armor. When they finally separated, Commander Day stood and turned to Hyun. The giant reached out and took Hyun's hand. His grip was careful, controlled. He could have crushed every bone in Hyun's hand, but he did not. "You have given my daughter something I could not," Commander Day said. "Hope, purpose, a future." He paused. "You are a friend to House Day. Name your reward." "Anything you desire. Technology, wealth, a position in the Tellurian Empire. It is yours." Hyun looked at Nari. She was still in her armor, still glowing with happiness. She was the most beautiful thing he had ever seen. "I don't need a reward," Hyun said. Seeing her fly was enough. Commander Day's eyes narrowed slightly. He looked between Hyun and his daughter. Something passed across his face, too quick for Hyun to read. The crowd wanted to talk to Nari, to congratulate her, to examine the armor. She was pulled away into a group of excited engineers and pilots. Hyun watched her go, feeling suddenly alone. That evening, after the hangar had emptied, Hyun returned to his shop. He was cleaning his tools when the door chimed. Nari stood there, still in her armor. "I thought you would be celebrating," Hyun said. "I wanted to thank you properly," Nari said. She stepped inside and closed the door behind her. "Without an audience." "You already thanked me." "No, I thanked the mechanic who built me equipment." Nari walked closer. "I have not thanked the person who saw me as more than a problem to solve." "Nari," Hyun did not know what to say. "Why did you refuse my father's rewards?" she asked. "He offered you everything. Most people would have taken something." Hyun set down the tool he was holding. "Because I did not do this for rewards. I did it for you. Why? You really have to ask?" Nari smiled, but there was sadness in it. "I need to hear you say it." "Because I care about you," Hyun said. The words came out rough. "Because these past weeks working with you, talking to you, getting to know you, have been the best part of my life. Because when I look at you, I do not see someone who needs to be fixed. I see someone who is already perfect. I am not perfect. You are to me." Nari closed the distance between them. She reached up and touched his face. Her hand was gentle. "I have never felt this way before. About anyone. My whole life I thought I was broken. Then you made me feel whole. You made me feel seen." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "You made me feel loved." "You are loved," Hyun said. His heart was pounding. "I love you. I love you too," they kissed. It was awkward at first because of their height difference. Nari had to bend down and Hyun had to stretch up. But it did not matter. Nothing mattered except this moment, this feeling, this perfect connection. When they finally separated, they were both breathing hard. Nari rested her forehead against his. "What do we do now?" she asked. "I do not know," Hyun admitted. "Your father would never approve. Tellurians do not bond with other species, do they?" "No, never." Nari pulled back. The sadness was in her eyes again. "Our society is very strict about bloodlines and traditions. A relationship between a Tellurian and a human would be considered shameful. So we hide it?" "I do not want to hide," Nari said. "But I also do not want to lose you. And if my father knew, if my people knew, they would make me choose. My culture or you, What would you choose? Hyun asked, even though he was afraid of the answer. Nari looked at him for a long time. I do not know. And that terrifies me. They stood in the quiet shop holding hands, both knowing that something beautiful had started but not knowing how it could survive in a galaxy that would never accept it. Hyun wiped the grease from his hands and looked at the broken engine part on his workbench. Another day, another impossible repair job. That was life on Earth Orbital Station Gamma, the massive space station that floated high above the planet. Ships from every corner of the galaxy came here to trade, talk, and sometimes to get things fixed. His repair shop was small, just 3 rooms tucked into a corner of the station's industrial section. But Hyun had built a reputation over the past 5 years. When other mechanics said something could not be fixed, people came to him. He had a gift for understanding how things worked, even alien technology that no human had seen before. The door chimed. Han looked up and froze. A giant stood in his doorway. The creature had to bend down just to fit through the entrance, and even then, his shoulders scraped both sides. He was at least 12 feet tall, maybe more. His skin was deep purple, covered in what looked like metal plates that seemed to grow from his body. His eyes glowed a soft amber color. You are the mechanic called Hyun? The giant's voice was deep, like thunder rolling across mountains. Yes, that's me. Hyun stood up slowly. His heart pounded. He had seen many alien species, but none this big. How can I help you? The giant stepped inside. The floor creaked under his weight. My name is Commander Day of the Tellurian Empire. I have heard you can solve problems that others cannot. I try my best, Hyun said. He noticed the way the giant's jaw was tight, the way his hands were clenched. This was someone who did not like asking for help. I need you to help my daughter. Commander Day moved aside, and another figure stepped into the shop. Hyun's breath caught in his throat. She was tall by human standards, maybe 6 feet and 2 inches. Her skin was a beautiful light blue color, smooth and gleaming under the shop's lights. Her eyes were silver, bright and watchful. Her hair was long and white, pulled back from her face. She wore simple clothes, not the military uniform her father had on. But Hyun could see the sadness in her eyes, the way she held herself small like she wanted to disappear. This is my daughter Nari, Commander Day said. His voice was softer now. Among our people, she is considered too short. Nari looked at the floor. Hyun saw her hands curl into fists. Too short? Hyun could not keep the surprise from his voice. She's over 6 feet tall. Tellurians average 10 to 12 feet in height, Commander Day explained. Nari is the smallest adult in our recorded history. It is a genetic anomaly. She cannot use our technology. She cannot wear our armor. She cannot serve in our military. She cannot reach the control panels in our ships. He paused. She cannot live a normal life among our people. Hyun watched Nari. She still did not look up. I have taken her to every engineer in the Tellurian Empire, Commander Day continued. They have all tried to help. Nothing has worked. Our technology is built for our size. They cannot make her fit. He took a deep breath. Then I heard about humans. I heard you are good at making things work that should not work. I heard you adapt and survive no matter what. We try, Hyun said quietly. Will you help her? Commander Day asked. I can pay whatever you require. Technology, credits, resources from across the Empire. Hyun looked at Nari again. This time she looked up and met his eyes. In that moment he saw everything. The years of being different. The rejection. The loneliness. He knew that look. He had been the shortest kid in his school growing up. He had been told he was too small to be a pilot, too weak to join the military. So he had become a mechanic instead, finding his own way. Let me talk to her first, Hyun said. Alone, if that's okay. Commander Day's eyes narrowed. Then he nodded slowly. I will wait outside. He looked at his daughter. Nari, I will be right outside if you need me. Nari nodded. She did not speak. The giant left, and suddenly the shop felt much bigger. Hyun walked over to a clean workbench and gestured to a chair. Please sit down, Nari sat. She was still taller than Hyun, even sitting down. Her silver eyes watched him carefully. Can I ask you something? Hyun said. What do you want? Nari blinked. What? What do you want? Hyun repeated. Not what your father wants. Not what Tellurian society wants. What do you want for yourself? For a long moment, Nari just stared at him. Then slowly her eyes filled with tears. No one has ever asked me that before. Well, I'm asking now. Nari wiped her eyes quickly. When she spoke, her voice was steady despite the tears. I want to fly ships. I want to wear armor like other Tellurian warriors. I want to serve my people. I want to stop being treated like I am broken. She looked down at her hands. I want to stop feeling like a mistake. Hyun felt something twist in his chest. He pulled up another chair and sat down across from her. You're not a mistake. Your people built everything for one size. That's not your fault. That's a design flaw. What do you mean? Humans have a saying. One size fits all is one size fits nobody. Hyun smiled. We learned a long time ago that people are different. So we make things that adapt. We make things that adjust. We make things work for the person, not the other way around. Can you really help me? Nari's voice was so quiet, so full of hope that it almost hurt to hear. I don't know yet, Hyun said honestly, but I promise I will try. And I won't stop trying until we find something that works. Nari smiled for the first time. It transformed her face, making her look younger and lighter. Thank you. Don't thank me yet, Hyun said. First, I need to take some measurements. I need to understand your proportions, your reach, your strength. I need to see the Tellurian technology you're trying to use. Can you bring some things tomorrow? Yes. Nari stood up. I can bring armor, tools, control interfaces. Whatever you need. Perfect. Hyun stood too. Come back tomorrow morning. We'll start then. Nari walked to the door, then turned back. Hyun, why are you doing this? Hyun thought about it for a moment. Because everyone deserves to feel like they belong somewhere. And because fixing impossible things is what I do. After Nari and her father left, Hyun stood in his shop for a long time. He looked at his tools, his workbench, his spare parts. Tomorrow he would start the most important repair job of his life. He did not know it yet. But he was not just going to fix technology. He was going to change everything. Nari arrived early the next morning. She carried 2 large cases that looked heavy, but she handled them easily. Tellurians were strong, Hyun realized. Even the shortest one. I brought everything I could, Nari said as she set the cases down. Armor pieces, tools, a portable control panel. Good. Let's start with measurements. Hyun pulled out his scanner. Stand here, please. Arms out to the sides. As the scanner mapped her body, Hyun studied the items she had brought. The Tellurian armor was beautiful in its own way. Dark metal with energy lines running through it. But it was huge. The chest piece alone would have fit 2 of Nari inside it. This is the smallest armor they could make, Nari said quietly. She had seen him looking. It still does not fit. Because they're trying to shrink something that was not designed to shrink, Hyun said. He picked up one of the tools. It was as long as his arm and weighed at least 20 pounds. They're just making smaller versions of the same design. That's not adaptation. That's just reduction. I don't understand the difference. Hyun set the tool down and grabbed a wrench from his own toolbox. See this? It's a human wrench. Adjustable. It can fit different sizes of bolts and nuts. We did not make 100 different wrenches. We made one that adapts. He picked up the Tellurian tool again. This is made for one specific size. If that size changes, the tool is useless. So what will you do? I'm going to design tools that adapt to you. Armor that fits your proportions, not theirs. Control systems that respond to your reach. Hyun smiled. I'm going to use human principles. We're not the strongest species. We're not the fastest or the smartest. But we're the best at making things work for us. Over the next 3 weeks, Nari came to the shop every day. At first, she just watched Hyun work. He talked while he built, explaining his thought process. He told her about human history, about how humans had survived on Earth by adapting to every environment. Deserts, frozen lands, mountains, oceans. Humans lived everywhere because they learned to make tools for each place. Tellurians built their technology for Tellurians, Hyun said one afternoon. He was welding pieces of a frame together. That makes sense if everyone is the same size. But you're not, so we build for you specifically. No one ever thought about it that way, Nari said. She was sitting on a stool near his workbench. Over the weeks, she had relaxed around him. She smiled more now. Sometimes she even laughed at his jokes. That's because they were trying to fix you, Hyun said. I'm trying to fix the technology. As the days passed, Nari began to open up. She told him about her childhood, about being the strange one, the small one, about other Tellurian children who had teased her, about teachers who did not know how to help her, about the military academy that had rejected her application because she could not reach the standard controls. My mother defended me. Nari said one day. Her voice was soft. Other Tellurians said cruel things. She fought them. Literally fought them. She died in one of those fights. Hyun stopped working. I'm so sorry. My father blames himself. He thinks he should have protected her better. Protected me better. Nari looked at her hands. He loves me, but sometimes his love feels like a cage. He wants to keep me safe by keeping me hidden. You don't want to be hidden? No. I want to prove I can serve my people. I want to show that being different does not mean being useless, Hyun understood. He had felt the same way when people told him he was too small to be a pilot. He had proved them wrong by becoming the best mechanic on the station. He also realized something else during those weeks. He was falling for her. It started small. He noticed how her eyes lit up when she understood a new concept, how she bit her lip when she was thinking, how her laugh sounded like music, how she was brilliant, understanding complex engineering principles faster than most humans he knew. She had been trained in Tellurian quantum mechanics and military strategy. She knew things about space-time that made Hyun's head hurt, but no one had ever given her a chance to use that knowledge. You're staring, Nari said one day. She was smiling. Sorry. Hyun felt his face get hot. I was just thinking. About what? About how anyone could think you're not good enough. The words came out before he could stop them. Nari's smile faded. She looked at him for a long moment. You really mean that? Of course I do. Something changed between them in that moment. The air felt different. Nari stood up and walked over to where Hyun was working. She was close enough that he could see the patterns in her blue skin, like swirls of lighter and darker shades. Thank you, she said quietly, for seeing me. Not the problem. Not the mistake. Just me. That's all I've ever seen, Hyun said. His heart was beating fast. Nari reached out and touched his hand. Her fingers were long and warm. I have never felt this way before. What way? Like I belong somewhere. Like someone actually wants me around. I do want you around, Hyun said. More than you know. They stood there, hands touching, neither one moving. Then Nari's communicator beeped. She pulled back quickly, checking the message. It's my father. He wants to know how the work is progressing. She looked at Hyun. What should I tell him? Tell him we're almost ready for a test, Hyun said. Because we are. That night after Nari left, Hyun worked late. He put the finishing touches on the exoframe. It was a masterpiece of human engineering. Light but strong. It extended Nari's reach by 3 feet and enhanced her strength. But it did not try to make her taller. It just gave her the ability to interact with technology built for taller people. The armor was next. He had redesigned it completely. Instead of trying to shrink Tellurian armor, he had built new armor using human ergonomic principles. It fit Nari's proportions perfectly. It would protect her just as well as any Tellurian armor, maybe better because it did not restrict her movement. Finally, there were the control interfaces. He had created a system that could detect Nari's biometrics and adjust automatically. It would work with any Tellurian ship or equipment, adapting the controls to her reach in real time. Looking at everything laid out on his workbench, Hyun felt proud. But he also felt scared, because tomorrow Nari would test everything. Tomorrow she might leave to rejoin Tellurian society. Tomorrow he might lose the person who had become the most important part of his day. He did not want to think about that. So he focused on the work, making sure every connection was perfect, every adjustment was precise. Because if this worked, Nari would get her dream, and Hyun would give anything to make her happy, even if it meant letting her go.